I mean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys working it out in your schedule just to help me, just help us, right? You know, and y'all have done that in your own lives in so many ways. And just the conversation about being a man in 2025 is so complex, right? And so many people's identity of what it is to be strong, what it is to be sensitive, what it is to be vulnerable, what it is to be real and honest. It's not always easy when you live in a space as a man, no matter what your career is, right? No matter what your experience, you're always questioned and judged, and people want to deconstruct everything about our process. But you know, man, talking about man enough, my father-in-law just passed. Just about a week ago. Incredible man, was alpha male, big dude. He knew I didn't have a daddy, so he stepped in when I got married when I was about 25. And I'll never forget, Kings, he, you know, I'm a very sensitive man. You're like, it don't take much for me to cry. I was adopted by a woman, so, you know, I'm very in touch with my femininity as a man. And I remember a moment I was going through something, and I leaned in on him to cry because I just wanted to just kind of feel that moment to just lean on a man's shoulder and just cry. And he's a big dude like y'all, and I caught the image of him in the window, and I'm crying on him, and he's like, he's trying to figure out how to hug, because you could tell that that wasn't natural for him to be trying to hug me. And it's like, and I found out that, you know, his daddy didn't teach him how to cry. Right, you know, being vulnerable was not part of that generation, and so he was not necessarily able to tap in the way that I was hoping he could tap in to kind of feel my pain. And I want to ask y'all, man, when was the last time something in life, something good?
That was a very good thing to bring up, because I think part of growing up, and it's one of the most difficult things to experience, is expecting things out of your parents that they actually aren't capable of giving, you know? And it's like, well, why haven't you learned it? You know, if they haven't experienced it and they only did the best they can do with what they experience and what they know, and now you've grown up and now you look back at what they did and you're like, well, dang, you could have did better. I'm trying to do better than you. Why don't you do better now? It's such a tricky conversation, because it's like, all right, on one hand, I can't expect from you what you were never taught. But then on the other hand, if it's brought to the forefront that it's something to be worked on, I would just at least, I understand you're up there in age, put the effort in. Put the effort in being better in this space instead of just being stuck in your ways. And I think that's where I struggle. It's like, I understand maybe you weren't raised like that or you didn't see that kind of love. But if somebody's telling you you can be better right here, at least put the effort in to try to be better there,
Good, something bad, something difficult, that you were able to tap into that moment where you shed some tears, or were you taught as a young man to not shed tears?
Yeah, I would say we just had this conversation on our show with Jason Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
And we had the discussion, literally, it's been almost 30 years for me. And I mean, within that time, I lost my mom, been divorced.
Wait a minute, you say 30 years for what?
Since I've cried.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
Yeah.
30 years?
I don't know, I think we live in a society now that it is okay for black.
Last time this brother cried was in 97. I'm only 29. Well, so 95 was the last time this brother cried. Like, it's been mad things to happen in life to cry, like Kobe. I mean, it's mad moments. I mean, look, man, I ain't no crybaby, but 30 years not crying, that's a lot.
Black men to express their feelings, but we didn't come from that. That's new. Our kids are in this. We came crying as a sign of weakness, toughen up, get over it, man up, whatever the saying used to be where you were from, but crying wasn't accepted. So that's something, one thing is funny, like literally talked about it in counseling, talked about it on the show, that I've been trying to really unleash, because I know everybody needs a good cry. I just haven't had one in, probably 30 years.
Not even like the birth of your children or anything?
Nah, like excitement, happiness, but like an actual cry. I haven't like I said, in that time, I've had amazing experiences with the birth of children, and obviously unfortunate with the loss of my mom and my, divorce and everything that comes along, retirement. There's a lot of opportunities, I think, but they just never, losing Kobe. There's a lot of different things, losing Nip. There's a lot of different things you would think that would make you tap into stuff like that, but it just never really happened. I'm lucky.
I could kind of relate to that in a sense, even though I am a man that if I usually cry at happy moments. This is what's very weird about me. It's hard for me to cry when I'm sad, but I'll cry in a happy moment. Like I'll cry. Like the other day I made a video and that felt so good. I made a video and I kind of teared up in that video. I don't know if y'all saw, but just talking about how good God has been to me. Like when I'm really like just thankful. Now, I mean, when I'm just in those moments, I'll have those happy tears, But when things are sad or when something bad happens, I struggle with crying. And I think it's because it's a mix of things. You have one as a child, you're told you're a boy, don't cry. And then with me being in the military, it was kind of like embrace the suck. Like you're aware of how much this sucks. You're aware of the situation. I carry this with everything I do. Now, I mean, I'm aware of how hard this is going to be, but tears ain't going to fix it. Sadness is not going to fix it. I kind of see everything in life like a mission. How are we going to get past this? And I'm not saying this as if this is a healthy thing. Now, I mean, this is something that I have work to do on myself because there are moments that I need to release. I'm just glad I don't have anger issues like I did when I was a kid, because then it'll come out in different ways. But like I said, for me, I think over time, just a man, like you become numb to sadness because it's like your body is almost like, what's the point? Like, what is the point of me crying? What is crying gonna do? And that's not a good place to be in, which is why, fellas, we need to be a little bit more in tune.
Looking for, hopefully it's a joyful cry. That's what,
What it's gonna be.
God willing. Yeah.
Let me ask you, Game, for you to be in the same career space as somebody that you looked up to and to know all of the images that y'all have to be accepted in the world that you come from, and you've been excellent at what you've done for a minute. How did it feel? How does it feel for you to know that somebody in your world shares that level of emotion?
For me, so me and Dog, we met outside before I became, me. We met. I was on Langershon getting some gas, and Dog was getting some gas. Of course, he was with his guys, and protected and loved. He had his, all his guys, as he should be. It's Snoop Dogg. And me, I was in a Monte Carlo, just getting some gas, man, trying to, go to the studio. And I asked Dog, I was like, hey, man, I just went for it. I was like, hey, man, I got a song I want you to get on. And he was like, what's your name? And I was like, man, they call me Game. And I said, I met you when Minister Farrakhan was speaking at the Coliseum, a few years ago, like a year ago. And I told you then, he didn't remember, and I knew he wasn't gonna remember. But that day, man, we went across the street to Rodney Jerkins' studio. Rodney Jerkins was letting me use the studio to record. Dog came right there, man, got on the song, and that blew my mind. And it was, it burst me, because after that I was like, damn, like I'm talking about across the street in the moment. We did the song, and that was it. But Dog, man, he know what it is with me. I've been, of course, it's Snoop, right? So we all grew up watching Snoop, but his thing, he always been vulnerable. And so I always knew that I could be vulnerable from the gate. You know what I'm saying? It's just like my emotions, it's like, like Matt said, my daddy was, I got beat down if a tear fell. Let a tear fall, and we all got beat down. My dad had this thing, it was a bread holder called the Board of Education. He would drill holes in it. God rest his soul. I got my fade when I got a little older with my pops over there. Because he gave me one of those ultimatums. He said, well, when you feel like you there, we're going in the backyard. So I turned 19.
And what'd you do?
We went in the backyard, but I already knew he had bad knees.
Wait a minute, hold on. You went in the backyard to do what?
I told him I was ready.
For what?
For the fade.
Okay. I'm not trying to be funny, but can somebody explain to me what the fade is?
Yeah, he told me ever since I was little, when I got to that point, I was ready to, throw them hands and give retribution for everything I felt he did to me. We can go in the backyard. So one day, he was, I think he was watching Coming to America, something in his room, laid out, had his little Levi Daisy Duke shorts on. Back in the day, the pops used to wear the fro. I was about 19, and I was like, I'm ready. And he already knew. He was like, oh, he got up quick. We went in the backyard, and I got my one. Yeah.
Yo, y'all out here fighting your dads? Have you ever fought your dad? Comment below. Have you ever fought your dad? Be honest. Did you win? Now, be honest. I'm going to be real. I don't think I could do something like that. Honestly, like me and my dad, we done had words. Like we done had like grown man words for each other. But I just can't see myself balling up a fist and hitting the man that gave me life. Like, and it might just be the relationship that me and my pops have had with me growing up. Even if we have differences as adults, I just can't see myself hitting my dad and him hitting the ground or something. Now, him whooping my ass, hey, man, it would just be a flashback from back in the day. You know what I mean? So that wouldn't be too crazy. But I just couldn't see me beating up my dad. Like, and me and my dad, like I said, growing up, we had a good relationship. Our adult relationship, we have had our grown man times, but I don't know. Like, y'all comment right now. I know ladies be getting into it with their moms, calling their moms bees and all type of crazy stuff. Fellas, you get into it with your pops, especially if he was absent. Those kind of situations, I understand. Like, if your pops used to beat on your moms, or you see him beating on your moms, or your stepdad talking to, not all of that, everything I just said will go out the window. You know what I mean? Like, let's just say my pops was to, put hands on my mom today, which my mom and my dad not even together, but I was to see something crazy like that. That is completely different. I wouldn't watch nobody put hands on my mom, So yeah, comment below. I really want to know, would y'all fight y'all parents? Like, is that something that people are out here willing to do? Like, I beat this motherfucker.
He needed one.
How did he respond to you?
Oh, he lost. And all jokes aside, he didn't like that. And we didn't speak for maybe like 2 weeks. He couldn't deal with that. He couldn't believe he lost. But I knew he had bad knees and he was a little slower. And this is young. I'm the tallest person in my family. So I was there, I was ready, and I was quick.
So damn, man, I got a question for you, bro, man. When you hear about that generation always encouraging us as men to hold that back, looking at our generation, like, how old are you, D?
54.
You're 54, okay, so you close same age. Mm-hmm. Do you think that helped us or hurt us?
I think it hurt us, really. Because, a lot of us have like daughters and stuff, and if you can't really be like emotional with your daughter or your kids and stuff like that, then I think you're missing out.
Yes.
And you're missing out on teaching them how to be. You know what I mean?
I remember I was talking to a therapist, and my therapist, he kept on asking me questions, and I remember him cutting me off and saying, you talk to so many different girls. I was single. You talk to so many different girls that you're starting to sound like them. And I said, what? Like, who the fuck are you talking to? He said, you keep saying, I feel. Everything is about how you feel. What is it though? Like, what's the facts? And I understood exactly what he was saying. Now, at the moment, I was kind of in between with what he was saying. I was like, I don't know, this brother on that. He even told me to watch some YouTube videos that low-key was on some red pill stuff. So needless to say, that was our last conversation. But now today, I do understand what he meant when he said, I feel like. Because as a man, you can't constantly lead with how you feel. A lot of it has to be strung from logic. Because a lot of things in life you're not going to feel like doing, but you have to do it, and a lot of times your feelings can lie to you. Your emotions can lie to you. So I do understand what he was saying. But the nuance to that is that, perfect example, my daughter. Another example, my wife. Another example is my mom. Another example is my grandmother, my cousins, my sisters. I have so many women in my life. Now, I mean, along with a lot of brothers, a lot of dads. My father. Now, I mean, I got a lot of guy cousins, whatever. Actually, do I have any guy cousins? I don't think I got any guy cousins. Now that I think I got homies. Anyways, but anyways, back to it. I have to have that emotional regulation as well as the logic, because when I'm talking to a woman, when I'm talking to my daughter, I have to be able to understand the emotions. So when you tell a boy, don't cry, don't fester in your emotions, it's like a whole part of our development, it has never developed. And I talked about this in another video. That part of us has never developed. So now you get a boy turn into a man, he's in a relationship with a woman and she's on her period or something, or she's pregnant. Now, I mean, she's going through all these weird emotions. He can't regulate this. All he knows is logic. That man is going to trip and fall over his words one day, because a lot of what we deal with as men is catering to somebody's emotions. You know what I mean? Whether it's your wife or your daughter. You cannot sit here and drill your daughter with logic. I said this before. Drill your daughter with logic when she's sad. You have to understand how to still give her the logic, but still be there for her emotionally, which is why I think as a man of his castle, a man, like I say, I'm the man of my castle, I have to have that in my tool belt as well. Being emotionally aware, not only logically driven in everything that I do.
I didn't have like no father or nothing like that, so my mother just raised me, so I cried all the time. And if she cried, I cried, period, you know what I mean? So I grew up with a lot of emotion, you know what I mean? It wasn't no like father to tell me not to do this, man up. I ain't never been told man up or none of that, you know what I mean? My mother just, she was the father and the mother.
Wow.
You know what I mean? She was both, whatever, as best as she could be, you know what I mean? So,
Do you think that being able to tap into that type of emotion for you as a man, do you think it helped you?
yeah, I think so, because I wouldn't probably be doing what I'm doing now, you know what I mean, if I didn't feel. And also, I think it helps you with just being in certain places, you know. If I feel like I shouldn't be in this room, I'm out. You know what I mean? It's like it's the same. It's a feeling you tap into. That's like if I go somewhere and it feel weird, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? It's that same.
Doesn't that sound just like what they call women's intuition? That women's intuition feeling, you know? So I guess guys, we have our own intuition too, and most of us get it from our mama.
Feeling that you have when you're watching a movie or you fall in love or whatever. That's why that tripped me out when you said that. You was like, you ain't cried in 30 years? I was like, wow.
But, hey, so I had, not to cut you off, but I had reservations about it, and then while we sitting here in real time, I thought about it, and I thought like, his skin could just be a little bit tougher than everybody's, and that's not a bad thing. But then your oldest, your son's what? 16. It's 16. So for me, Dog, and for me and Dog especially, and I don't know if you have kids or how old they are, but I think your moments are high school graduation, college graduation, weddings and stuff like that. Like, and you got a daughter? Or?
Yeah, all boys.
Oh yeah, so there you go again. Let's see, that's that daughter thing. Like my daughter, if I sit here and I think about her too long, I'm gonna.
But I think to add to what you're saying, though, is I think obviously it helped you, but for me, I think it helped me not to, but also hindered me in ways now that I'm seeing at my age, where I have walls up, or I'm not empathetic enough, or not emotional enough. So. Again, living in a society now, we're having these conversations. This wasn't a conversation 20 years ago. But
I'll never forget when I was in high school. And here's what's so crazy. When I was living with my mom, which is most of my life, I used to cry a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I was one of those kids that I was either angry or I was very just emotional, When I lived with my dad, it was night and day. It was like, my dad had a level of structure and fear in us that you will think something sad. It's a lot like what I dealt with in the military. You maybe thinking about something sad, but you're numb to it because you don't want to get in trouble, you know. And I'm not gonna all the way say this was healthy either, but I'll never forget. It was such a shift for me to not be able to be emotional and then have an adult console me like my mom would. So I never forget my stepmom at the time said to me, Ty, I've never seen you excited for anything. Like, I've never seen you be excited for anything. And when she said it, I was like, it was very shocking that she said it because it was like, damn, you really pay attention. And it even made me think like, damn, I don't get excited for stuff. Like, I even said it in a video recently that buying real estate never really, you know, it was never like a huge thing for me. A lot of things that I've done that most people would be like, wow, I don't get impressed by. And honestly, I think it's because when I was younger, there were times where I wanted somebody to be, you know, happy with me, and I didn't experience that. So I stopped being excited for my own stuff. I just, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And again, y'all, I know a lot of my videos is me giving y'all advice and stuff. I'm telling y'all something that I need advice on. You know, I need help with this. This is something that I'm working on myself. Now, I mean, I don't want y'all to see and think that Ty Boogie, the dude you're looking at right now, is a perfect guy. I've learned from a lot of my mistakes. I'm very much intuitive, you know, and I'm aware of myself. But this is one of the places where I need some work. You know what I mean? Like, I need to find my excitement button, you know? And why? You know, why am I like that? You know, that's an experience that
and
I
these
have.
type of conversation now make you see like he's always done it, so he's more open to things. I've rarely done it since I was a child, so I'm more closed off in that area where I don't want to be closed off no more. Like as I get, I'm 45 now, like, and I have kids, so I want to be able to open up and really emotionally feel these experiences that I haven't had in a long time. So that's why when he said kid-wise, I'm excited about that.
So look, they're about to, the words is gonna get kind of it's gonna get kind of busy in the room or whatever. They're gonna start talking to the chef on this part. If y'all want me to do another part to this, I can do another part to it tomorrow. This is the third video I'm posting today, so I hope y'all appreciate that. Yo, look, I'm going to be launching an app real soon. Now, this is gonna be my app. I am going to be the CEO of this. You know what I mean? I have had a developer working on this for a while. I haven't really spoke on it because I didn't know what the timeline was going to look like. He hit me up today and he said, yo, look, we need people that's going to be a part of the beta testing. All right. So if you want to be a part of the beta testing, do me a favor. In the comment section below, type your email. Okay. So what the app is going to be is basically going to be this app called Hoop Connect. Right. So let's just say I go to California and I want to go play ball, but I don't know nobody in the city. Right. I could go on my Hoop Connect app and I can see who has current runs, who has active runs, what time are the runs going on, who is at these runs. Now, the people that want to host runs, if you don't know what runs, it's like a 5-on-5, 3-on-3, 2-on-2, 1-on-1s. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that, whatever. Like, the people that wants to host a run, you can host a run on the app and say, at this location, I'm hosting a run, and this is how much it costs to be a part of that run. You know, and that's how the host can actually make money. After the games, players can actually get reviewed. You can either review the run or you can actually get reviewed yourself, you know? So I got all of this in the work right now. I'm figuring it all out. But anyways, the first launch of the app is going to be sometime in the next 2 weeks. He said next week, but I'm going to say the next 2 weeks. But I need an email list. I need a list of people that want to be a part of my beta testing and yeah, could just give me feedback and stuff like that. All right. So if y'all do that, I really appreciate it. Like I said, just comment down below your emails. All right. So hey man, it's been your boy Ty Boogie. Until next time. Now, I mean, if you want to make some money just playing games on your phone, all you got to do is click the link in the description below, the link in the comment section below. These apps, they're literally paying people just to play games on your phone. It's crazy every time I think about it, all right? Check it out, see if it's for you. If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But if you catch yourself making money, make your money. Until next time, y'all, it's been your boy Ty Boogie. I'm out of here, man. Peace.